It is the language of looting is a way to try to distract and diffuse from the kind of bureaucratic violence that has rained down on Black communities. Bureaucratic violence in terms of militarizing the police, bureaucratic violence in terms of underfunding public schools, bureaucratic violence in terms of environmental toxins being poured into poor and Black communities. That kind of bureaucratic violence just gets elided over. And so one of the things when I wrote White Rage, I talked about how we focus so much on the flames that we miss the kindling. And the kindling is that bureaucratic violence that systematically destroys Black communities, that systematically erodes their citizenship. That is what we need to be paying attention to, or we're always going to see the flames. And so that looting tries to make that equivalence. It's a false equivalence. That language of looting, that language of, well, you're distracting from the peaceful protest. But when African Americans peacefully protested, like Colin Kaepernick, he was just vilified for somehow disrespecting the flag, when the real disrespect of the flag is the systematic destruction of Black people.
In your Guardian piece, Professor Anderson, you write, our current Attorney General Bill Barr does not appear to see injustice. Instead, he sounds much like his ancient predecessor, A. Mitchell Palmer. Explain.
So A. Mitchell Palmer was the Attorney General during 1919, the Red Summer of 1919. And there you had an eruption of anti-Black violence as Black veterans are coming back from World War I. Their military work in the military as soldiers so disrupted what was the hierarchy of power, because it was like, wait a minute, they think they're citizens now? So you saw this violence erupt where Black people were hunted down and killed. One of the most horrific cases was in Elaine, Arkansas. And that is where Blacks were mobilizing to unionize because their wages were being stolen. You had this massive group of sheriffs and vigilantes and the U.S. Army coming in and just massacring Black people. The A. Mitchell Palmer didn't see that. What he saw, instead of people fighting for their constitutional rights, he said, these are these left-wing radicals. These are communists. And it launches what would become known as the Red Scare, this hunt for communists in every kind of movement for equality. What you see with Bill Barr, by raising up this fictive Antifa organization that is out to destroy all that is good and right in America, where they can't even identify what the Antifa organization is. And Antifa stands for anti-fascist, fighting the fascist. But what we do have is the violence of the right wing, the violence where you have armed men storming into the Michigan State Capitol and threatening to kill the governor and yelling at law enforcement. But somehow that's not the kind of violence that Bill Barr is concerned with. So you get this mobilizing of federal forces to knock out progressive forces that are fighting for equality by using the threat of some outside agitator, some terrorist group. For A. Mitchell Palmer, communist. For Bill Barr, Antifa, whatever.